Santa Claus had flown across thousands of rooftops that night. Bells jingling, reindeer hooves striking sparks of starlight, his red coat glowing against the moon. He had delivered toys to castles and cottages, to cities blazing with lights and villages tucked in silence. But as the night deepened, something tugged at him. A strange weight in his chest, as if one home, one child, was calling out louder than all the rest. He pulled gently on the reins. "Easy now, Dasher. Slower, Prancer." The sleigh dipped, gliding down a narrow snow-covered lane where the lamps barely flickered and shadows clung to the walls. And then he saw it. A house smaller than the rest, worn down, the paint peeling, the roof sagging. No wreath on the door, no glowing tree in the window, just darkness. Santa landed softly on the roof, boots crunching in the snow. As he stepped toward the chimney, his heart felt heavier than his sack. Inside, the house was cold. Too cold. He looked around. A weak fire burned in the hearth, barely alive, and hanging beside it was a stocking, if you could call it that. An old wool sock, patched in 3 places, drooping under its own weight. Santa's eyes softened. He reached into his magical sack, expecting toys, sweets, something bright to fill it with. But when his hand came back up, nothing. Empty. He frowned. The sack never failed. Never. He tried again, deeper this time. A doll appeared, painted and perfect. He held it up. But no, it didn't feel right. He set it aside. He tried again. A toy train, shining and red. Still wrong. Again. Chocolates wrapped in gold. Still wrong. Santa paused. His gloved hand hovered above the stocking, and for the first time in centuries he realized this child had not wished for toys. Behind him, in the corner, he noticed a small figure sleeping. A girl, no older than 8, curled under a thin blanket. Her face pale, her breaths shallow but steady. She stirred once, clutching something close to her chest. Santa stepped closer. It was a folded piece of paper, crumpled from years of being held. Carefully he lifted it. It was a letter, but not written tonight. Not even this year. The ink was faded, the edges torn, and as Santa read, his chest grew tight. "Clara, even when I am gone, remember, Christmas is hope. Christmas is love. Christmas is light. Don't stop believing. Father." The letter shook in his hands. He looked back at the stocking, drooping and thin. No toy could fill what she had asked for. No train, no doll, no sweet. For Clara had wished for something no sack could hold. She had wished for hope. Santa sat at the wooden table, his great frame filling the tiny room. From his coat he pulled out a quill, its tip shimmering like a star. He dipped it into ink that glowed faintly blue, and slowly, carefully he began to write. "Dear Clara, I found your stocking tonight. To others it may look empty, but I see what it holds. It holds your courage. It holds your father's love. And now it holds my promise. You are not forgotten. You never will be. Hope is the greatest gift, and it is yours, forever. Santa." He folded the letter and tucked it into the stocking. But still, something was missing. Santa reached once more into his sack. This time, instead of toys, his hand closed around something warm. When he drew it out, it was a single candle, small, simple, yet glowing with a steady flame that did not flicker, even in the cold air. He placed it on the mantel. Instantly the room changed. Shadows retreated. The fire seemed to brighten. The silence no longer felt empty. It felt alive. Santa stood for a long moment, watching the child sleep, the letter clutched in her stocking, the candle glowing by her side. Then, with a heavy breath and a gentle smile, he turned back to the chimney. By morning, Clara awoke. Her eyes went to the stocking first, as children always do. No bulging shapes, no rustling paper, no shiny ribbon. Just a folded letter. With small hands, she opened it. As her eyes traced the glowing ink, they widened. She pressed it to her chest, whispering the words over and over. And then she saw the candle. Its flame was warm, golden, alive. Tears welled in her eyes, not of sadness, but of something far greater, of hope. The stocking may have looked empty to the world, but to Clara it was fuller than she had ever dreamed. And high above the clouds, Santa whispered to the stars, "Sometimes the greatest gifts are not what we place in stockings, but what we leave in hearts."